facts of this case are that officers in a National Guard helicopter observed numerous marijuana plants growing in the rear of the defendant's residence.
When I got raided by the police, National Guard helicopters were over my home. There was 12 police officers in my house. There's a bunch of cops raiding my home and my livelihood. I'm terrified.
And the search yielded 67 marijuana plants, 20 one-gallon bags of marijuana, 59 jars of hash oil.
It was a shocking find for law enforcement. Here was this guy with this huge drug operation. Anyone who's using or cultivating or distributing cannabis illegally believes they're not going to get caught. When somebody comes to you in tears, you have empathy.
Hi, Phyllis. How are you?
I'm okay. My whole aim in life right now is, my job is to walk.
Phyllis is 84 years old.
In order to go out, I really think of excuses not to go out because the pain is unbearable.
When she called me, she was someone who was just desperately in pain. Nerve pain in the bones. And it's incredibly hard to combat.
The pain takes your breath away. Opiates would not touch this.
Yeah. So the opiates wouldn't even take the sharpness off the pain for you?
No.
And what did you...
Phyllis refused to smoke at all. Like, great, that's fine. Let's find a different way. I thought, all right, we'll start her with a coconut oil cooked with cannabis. So I started telling her, just right before you go to bed, just put a little bit on your hip.
I did find, though, that the relief with the cannabis took away that sharpness where I could sleep all night, where before it would wake me and I had to change position, which was
topical application. It really was the difference between being miserable and homebound and having enough quality of life to vacuum her apartment, go to the grocery store.
Sorry, Ezra.
Oh, hey,
Sorry,
I have time. All right, are you good here?
Yep.
Back in? All right, I won't let you walk any farther. I have patients that conventional medicine is just like, I give up, totally give up on this person. And it's tragic to see these people who had been chewed up and spit out. I had a few patients who came to me because it was either try this crazy new thing called medical marijuana or maybe end it all. Like, I had a couple people who said that's what they would have done.
I'm probably up to 10 arthroscopic surgeries through both knees. I've had 3 surgeries on my lower back. The 4th surgery I had on my lower back was a fusion of L4 to S1.
If you've had 15 surgeries on your back, there's a point where you lose faith in the medical field.
I was on 150 mics every 3 days of the fentanyl patch, and also 50 milligrams of morphine 3 times a day. But my pain is controlled by medical marijuana, not by opioids.
I was so busy managing clients, consulting, trying to grow all the medicine. I had 2 full-time employees. I was considered the local expert. So this says 125 milligrams.
Okay.
You can put this in food. I was interviewed in articles. I spoke on panels. I sat next to DAs as we answered questions about cannabis. My stress was high, but it had nothing to do with keeping away from law enforcement. I'll never forget the moment I had to tell my wife. To say that over the course of an hour, everything was gone. My career, my livelihood, all the plants and products.
Look at the horse's hairdo.
Okay, guys, breakfast is ready.
There were some very tense conversations. The house smelled like marijuana. We have kids, we had play dates, and I was like, oh, it was not ideal.
Dad, come on.
I walk my kids through it. I say to them, I would never bring something in this house that I felt was a danger to you.
Butter and maple syrup.
But if a policeman came into our house and saw the plants that I was growing, he could take me away. He could arrest me. That's very real. And the kids have been scared by that.
We kind of thought that they would just drop the case, that they took our plants, they destroyed the livelihood, and they'd call it good. But I think the lowest moment for me was I got home from work and Ezra said they're going ahead with a prosecution. And my worst fear was Ezra getting taken away and being in jail.
I flat out asked my lawyers, what's the bottom line here? Am I going to jail? Am I going to federal prison? Immediately, my lawyers said, get character letters from your patients to prove what kind of person you are. And by the time I sat down with the prosecutor for our first behind closed doors meeting, I had about 40 letters. And in that stack of 40 letters were some incredibly heart-wrenching stories of medical crises, of people truly articulating their wits' end. After these long discussions with the prosecutor, I still had an arraignment.
The morning of the arraignment, Ezra and I were just as much as possible trying to maintain normalcy. He made breakfast, we got the kids up.
Yeah, he cleans up all right.
And my parents arrived. And I knew my mom would be with the kids, which was the best possible person to be there.
Maybe so.
Filled it out a little bit.
But there was this undercurrent, a kind of charge of like, this is it, this is D-Day.
I'm not gonna bring my wallet.
And we're gonna find out what the rest of our lives is going to be
All right, my darlings.
from today.
Bye, kiddos. I'll see you soon.
So much for coming.
Bye, Sandy. It's okay.
All right.
Okay.
Officers in a National Guard helicopter observed numerous marijuana plants growing in the rear of the defendant's residence. And the search yielded, among others, the following: 67 marijuana plants, 20 one-gallon bags of marijuana, 59 jars of hash oil, 3 scales, and a quantity of United States currency.
To stand up there, it's extremely exposing and humbling.
And you know, at that trial that you are giving up, you'd be presumed innocent. You could testify if you want to, or exercise your constitutional right to remain silent on the matter, while counsel challenge the evidence through cross-examination.
When the judge agreed with the agreement between the prosecutor and my lawyer,
Counsel, I would tell you that I think the arrangement proposed is certainly well thought out. It's entirely fair and appropriate, and I'll be adopting it. All right? Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
90-day probation, general probation, unsupervised. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I was very happy.
Understood, Your Honor. Thank you.
And when I walked out of the courtroom, I saw full benches. Half the people I recognized, the other half I didn't know. But when the entire courtroom emptied and all those people were just there for my case, it was a reminder of the silent voices out there. I represent decades and decades of people having to hide this thing that they feel is not wrong.
Thanks for coming, Bob. All right, no problem. First of all, thank you everyone for coming. I first want to thank my wife, Brooksley, for standing by me the whole time. Thank you to friends, supporters who wrote letters in support of my case. You literally altered the course of my life in this case. It has always been my goal to elevate the conversation on cannabis.
What the future holds for me is incredibly unpredictable.
Thank you.
We still don't know how I'm going to pick up the pieces of a career and carry on.
Thanks for doing it for everybody. This is not just about you.
I realize why I'm here.
You're like the thing on the front of the ship. What are those things called?
Yes.
I am worried about my patients. Since I was raided, I do have patients who don't have access, who I know are suffering. People like Phyllis. I still believe that what I did was not wrong. It's a plant, it's medicinal, and the laws seem incredibly unjust.